All right, this is my second attempt to record this because I got a phone call during the first one and I correctly paused the recording. But then when I came back, instead of clicking unpause recording, I clicked stop recording. So we're here talking about August 2022. Here's the power rankings of the top 10 performers of the month. Let's make sure everything's recording, looks good. And yeah, let's get into what happened this fine month. TTAC 14 began. Not going to give too much credit to the first round, especially with shorter tournaments, 5-round tournaments. I tend to really start giving credit starting with the semifinals, though pretty significant credit for the quarterfinals as well. But advancing from round 1 to 2, I'm not going to make that big a deal or failing to advance, right? Um, Clan League sort of went on hiatus, but there were a bunch of games played this month, and there were some games played close enough to this month. I'm kind of gonna fold it all together. The finals have not yet begun being played, though the rule sets are up. I have built hands for that. I have to go play my games. Tezuka's hand tournament finally concluded. This month we saw the second round of the finals. It was a three-way finals, and each of the three beat one of the others and lost to one of the others to reset the finals. But now the second go round, which happened this month, we finally have a winner. Excuse me. We finished up Chat Tournament 27. We completed Chat Tournament 28. We're into Chat Tournament 29. We're in the finals of it. We've also got GB34 and most of GB35. I think I'm comfortable calling who's going to win GB35 and who's going to come second, and probably who's going to come third. Don't know on fourth yet. So I'll give according credit. Backhander continued. I really should have edited this because I had the chance, because I started recording this and saw there was a mistake here and then reset the video. So I could have edited this. I did not. Backhander has concluded. Backhander was a very interesting format where no stipulations. You can play any hand you want, level 1 through 10, in a closed game, but you then play an open game, same rules, except you have to use your opponent's hand from the previous game. So most of the strategy and most of the strategy of the eventual winner was to use very low level cards that were also kind of singularly directional, or maybe side to side or up down, but like if one side to side, the whole hand side to side usually, and inflict the opponent with really terrible hands for the open. And Yevon was, and the winner, who we will not spoil yet, but may have just done so, was really effective at doing so. But then in the finals of it, brought out a hand of all low level rares, and that ended up playing quite nicely with the flood of ones hanging around on the other low level cards. And yeah, won it in interesting style. And finally, we also have Survivor, which reached a completely dominant final three. They played great. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Survivor here. I have neglected it in previous rankings, and I want to really showcase, especially because not only is it a tournament I haven't showcased yet, but it is a tournament where you're playing a larger number of games. You know, everyone's playing at least 6 games or so, and the people still in it have played like 13 rounds of this and are still alive. And 13 rounds of that is, a lot more than most people would play in a chat tournament. Even if you make the finals and tie 2 games each round, you're playing 9 games total. Survivor is already 13. And yeah, so I think it's a pretty big sample of performance. And while there's some snowball effects, the way it works, you trade cards with opponents, sort of, and those cards can now combine with other cards to power them up. So your deck improves as you play. And if you get ahead on having a good deck, that may have a snowball effect where you keep winning and your deck keeps improving, maybe more than other people's. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. But you definitely end up with some hand imbalances. And once a hand imbalance is created, maybe a player starts getting, significantly easier games. Finally, this is the first month I've had bots running, and I think they've been a pretty big success. They've played around, I have the number here, they've played around 400 games against the community so far. They're slightly under 50%, but the 2 best ones are glitched, so I think it'll come back to being around 50%, which I'm really happy with because I want them to be available as decent opponents of a variety of levels that aren't just easy to crush for free points, but also aren't, impossible to beat. So I'm really pleased with the calibration. And if you see bot club accounts around, those are my open bots. I've started work on closed bots. I hadn't until literally last night. Actually started kind of formalizing what would have to be part of it. But I've begun working on closed bots. They can now play multiple levels. They can play, I think, any random rule set you want to throw at them and any level set you want to throw at them, which is really cool. So we started having them play all level 10, but now they play different levels, and you can tell which one's supposed to be stronger. As the level goes up, you face a stronger bot, or what at least is supposed to be a stronger bot, but because they have different styles, results may vary. Though they seem to be landing with their win-loss results about where I expected. All right, let's get to the top 10. 10th, Vialva. I think Vialva, in some ways, deserves higher, but most of it didn't happen this month. Which is to say, overall, he has been the second best chat tournament player of late. He has a second place finish this month. He won one last month in really nice style. He's been very good in my random only ratings. I do ELOs for a lot of things, but one of my ELOs is just for chat tournaments and random open tournaments. And Vialva has moved up to 5th in my random only ratings, only trailing the big four, really, that you'd expect among active players. Really, really strong performances. He's looked really, really good of recent, particularly in open random formats, but not only. In 9th place, we have Nemesis Divina. This is Nemesis Divina's 4th time making the list in the 5 months he's been active. Another nice month, finals in a chat tournament, 4th place in a GB, just solid showing all around, good in multiple formats. And someone picked him to win TTAC. In 8th, we have Piggy Man. Piggy Man's one of the 3 remaining players in Survivor. He has a 3-8-2 record last I looked. He is likely to come 3rd, given this record. Note, however, that he had a better record until facing the other 2 finalists, which are the only people he's lost to. Note, the top 3 have only lost to each other, and he does have a win against one of the others, and I think he has the weakest cards at this point. So it's a pretty tough spot for him. He's probably going to come 3rd, but his record here is very good over a pretty large sample. He's currently in the finals of Chat Tournament 29. If he wins that, he certainly gets a boost, probably up to 5th, 6th range. Probably up to at least 5th. He's also the only one of the 3 in the finals to play successfully elsewhere. I shouldn't say just to play elsewhere, but to play successfully. He came 2nd place in Tezuka's hand tournament. We only had the rerun this month. He beat Zoom, lost to Delial, came 2nd. He's also still alive in TTAC. Number of nice showings. And I think, interestingly, every month from April to August 2022, he's finished 7th or 8th. And I think this is basically to say Piggy Man signs up for around 1 tournament a month, and he always does well enough to get himself in this top 10. He's happy with how much he's playing. He's probably not going to play more, but he would certainly place higher if he played more. But I also think it's remarkable that kind of playing one-ish or signing up for one-ish tournament a month, he has managed to so consistently make the power rankings because he basically always does well in that 1 or 2 tournaments he signs up for. In 7th, we have Tezuka. And Tezuka is 5-8-1 in Survivor. This is win, tie, loss. So 5 wins, 8 ties, 1 loss. He's got the 2nd best record around. He's only lost to 1 other person in the final 3. It's just been a really good showing in Survivor. He has not had success in any other format that happened this month, but the Survivor showing is so strong. +4, very difficult. You can see it's a somewhat tie-prone format. Hard to pick up wins. And if your hand is behind, then I guess it gets easy to pick up losses. But this is a really, really good record, and I think he deserves 7th this month. In 6th, we have Zoom. Zoom, just really nice all-around showing. 2 really good GB showings, 2nd and a 3rd. Most likely third, not locked in yet, but probably third. He also did not come top four in Survivor, but there were only four players who got more wins than losses, and he was one of them. So I'm sort of giving him credit for a fourth place ish type performance in Survivor, where he got 4 wins, 3 ties, and 3 losses. Which in that format, really good achievement because basically everyone who signed up, except for the top three in Zoom, finished with negative, usually quite negative records. And the top one racked up just a ton of wins, as we'll see shortly. But yeah, he also came third in Tezuka's hand tournament. Now, the part this month was he lost to Piggy and he lost to Delial, but I do want to give him a little retrospective credit here because he reset the bracket in the first attempt at the finals when Piggy beat him and Deli beat Piggy, but Zoom managed to beat Deli in Open, which is the only time Deli's lost an Open that I can remember in like 3 or 4 months. So, you know, I guess he lost once to one of my AIs, but he then crushed it a whole bunch of times around it. And that was an AI that other people haven't played yet, and I suspect is an excellent AI. All the evidence I have is it will. I really thought it would be a very close match between Deli and that AI, and it was not. Deli was much better than the AI. Though the AI like put up a real fight, it's very good, but Deli was better. This is to say, getting a win against Deli is obviously a tremendous achievement um, in this form. Notably, I could not get a win against Deli in TTAC and Open. In Nope, wrong direction. In fifth place, we have Chickeny, our last member of Survivor, and he's just put up this insane win rate. I think he's 8-4-1. It might be up to like 9-4, and I think it's 8-4-1. Last I checked, which was last night, and I don't think they've played since. He has a way higher win rate than any other player. Part of the reason most players have 2 or 3 more losses than wins is because Chickeny crushed them all. Tezuka is 5-8-1. Tezuka still has a legit chance to win the tournament. Piggy is also still alive, though with a weaker hand. I think Piggy doesn't have a serious chance to win anymore. But Chickeny, with the best hand and the best record, is quite likely to win it. You play till you get 3 losses. Both Chickeny and Tezuka have 1 loss, but I think Chickeny has a better hand at this point, and from his record, deserves it. He's won an insane 8 out of 13 matches, almost 2/3 of his matches. The next best win rate, Tezuka, has won slightly over a third of his matches, right? 5 out of 14, and Tezuka's won 8 out of 13. Unbelievable. He also subbed in late to Clan League, so the games did happen this month. He replaced some of Seto's games and won Brotherhood of Seed a critical game to win a match day against Twin Moons and lock Brotherhood of Seed into second. Fifth is Chickeny's highest finish in these things, mostly due to him being inactive. I'm sure he would have placed high regularly with more activity. He has placed fifth once before. In fourth place, we have Dalamar. I think he's the winner of GB35. He has 112 points. Second place has 111. Third place has 107. Based on skimming other people who may yet finish, I do not think they will catch up or pass him. I think Dalamar is going to be one of 4 players to win a tourney this month. You'll never guess who my top 4 are. Incidentally, I should shout out Akiyama here. He ended up not making the list, but if he wins CT29, beating Piggyman in the finals, which may happen before the month ends, there's a day or 2 left, then I have unfairly robbed him a spot on the list, and that will probably boot Vialva from the list and jump Akiyama up to, 5th or 6th or something. But Dalamar wins GB35, but I think that's not it. He has other things to his case as well. So a really nice tournament win, but also he advanced in TTAC and is the only player not from AVL to go undefeated over both halves of Clan League. A really impressive achievement, playing some really tough players in Open, getting a huge win over Akiyama in the first half, never being beaten, playing both Open and Closed, playing tough opposition. He had one of the best Clan Leagues. Like, if you were looking at Clan League MVP, Sir Smoke stands out, Vialva stands out, Delial stands out, and Dalamar stands out. Maybe I'm forgetting someone, but I think those are the big four. Yevon was really good for FFF. Um, I'm sure there's some other good, great players over the legs, but I think those four are going to be the competitors for a Clan League MVP type award. And so really wanted to give credit to Dalamar for that as well. And even if much of that was not this month. This is Dalamar's highest finish in my power rankings. In third, we have Yevon, and I want to say that the top three were really close. And in fact, when I wrote this list a day ago, I had Yevon in first, but I adjusted it. Specifically because Dalamar passed him in GB35. So Yevon moves from having won 2 tournaments to having won 1 tournament this month. He came up with the backhander concept and he won it in fantastic style, beating Delial and Turds in the final 2 rounds. He's the runner-up of GB35 most likely. He got a 4th place finish in Survivor, a 3rd place in GB34, a chat tournament semis. He also advanced in TTAC over Cool Spot, and Cool Spot is a very good tournament performer. Just a very good player, but specifically very good tournament performer. And I was really close to having Yevon getting first here. And looking at it, you can see he really racked up results in like everything he competed in. Just top 4s everywhere. And a win in a big tournament. So, yeah, could easily have had Yevon higher. But I didn't. In second place, we have Delial. And I wanted to have Delial in third, but I kept looking at it and wasn't able to because he has a few smaller things, semifinals of backhander. Winning Tezuka's hand tournament this month gives him a second tournament win this month. Most of it was done prior to this month, but he still had to beat both Piggyman and Zoom this month, and that's a pretty huge achievement, even if winning the rest of the tournament happened prior to this month. But I think the real clinchers are he was AVL's MVP in the second half as AVL won the second half of Clan League with a huge win over Chickeny, who, as we saw, is playing incredible triple triad. And honestly, Dully played a fantastic game. You'll see a video about that shortly. I got to catch that one live. So I'm pretty excited about that game. Really well played game. Showcased so many different cool things in one game. But also, it was just the critical game of Clan League. It locked AVL in as the winners of the second half, winning the match day over top rivals Brotherhood of Seed. He also, beat me in backhander. By my open ratings, he actually hit a peak in his general rating with his performance in the last month. He just keeps winning everything open he competes in. But also, and this includes closed, the thing that really pushed him over the top is, I thought Yevon was going to win a GB with 111, right? And it ended up that Dalamar passed him with 112. Delial got 122, which is basically twice as good, right? It's twice as far from a 50% record. It's twice as dominant. It's not necessarily twice as good, but it is twice as dominant over the field. 122 is an insane score. So scoring that much, once you start hitting near those 120 scores, that's when it would be a record if not for Akiyama. There was the incredible run of Yevons. There was a Fusion Cloud run at maybe 118. I think Turds recently had a great run. There have been a bunch of runs around 120, but there have been maybe 3 that broke 120 and another 3 that came close. And we've been going almost a year now. And over 35 GBs, we've basically had 6 runs even comparable to this one. And this is probably the second best one, and he second or third, maybe behind another of Delial's runs. But he didn't even win any games 9-1. Just absolutely insane score, and that really pushed it over the top for me to second place. But our winner is Turds. He won 2 tournaments this month, and they both happened mostly this month or entirely this month. 2 straight chat tournaments is a really big feat. He won in TTAC, and he runner-up to the backhander tournament, and having 3 top 2 finishes, including 2 wins, while moving up to clear third in my random tourney ELO-only ratings. He almost actually passed Delial there. He came really close to him, just a couple points behind. He moved 100 points ahead of Akiyama, which is insane. He's now been top 3 every month, March to August, but this is the first of them that he's grabbing first. I think it's his second first place. I really should have checked that. But yeah, Turds is my player of the month. You could definitely argue for Yevon having more top 4 finishes. You could definitely argue for Delial saying that Delial's 2 wins are better than Turds' 2 wins. I'm not sure they are, and they were a little less this month. It's close. But overall, with how dominant Turds was in chat tournaments and that he added a backhander tournament finals, I went with Turds. Any of the top 3 deserved it. And that's this month's Power Rankings. Hope you enjoyed.